At 110 years of age, Elsie Evans has seen a lot change over the years. She remembers when the Dunedin train station was built, and when milk was still delivered by horse and cart. For the last 40 years, she's been in retirement, but that's about to change.
The Elsie Evans was built in 1901 on the Waitemata Harbour by Chas Bailey Jr. He was a well-known boat builder up there, and he built it for the Timaru Harbour Board, and the Elsie Evans is actually named after the Timaru Harbour Board's chairman's wife, Elsie. She worked for 28 years up in Timaru, and then she was brought down to Dunedin, where the firm of Miller and Tonnage refitted her and sold her to Percy Moss, who was the master mariner at Portobello.
For the next 16 years, Elsie worked as a launch, towing barges and carrying freight around the harbour. Then in 1944, she was converted to a passenger ferry, sailing the 1.5 miles between Portobello and Port Chalmers. The ferries were an essential part of Dunedin's transport network, and the harbour was buzzing with activity. In the 1950s, road transport became more affordable, leading to the demise of the harbour ferries.
So that was the time when buses were coming in, and they were seen as a faster and a newer way of getting into town, and it was progress, and it was the flash thing to do to jump in a bus.
We've lost a lot of our maritime history, and today the harbour buzzes with the rhythm of cargo freight rather than people.
In 1962 she came out of the water and was taken to Waihola, and the idea was to run her out of Torrey Mouth as a fishing boat, but it didn't really quite happen there, and was left for 17 years or so under a macrocarpa hedge. 2002, when we acquired the Elsie Evans, all that was left was the hull of her, which had planks popping out of her, and it really needed a good makeover. We had people come in and saying, well, why don't you just build a new boat? And they couldn't see that it could possibly be restored, but lots of boats have been on their last legs, and people have got them and restored them.
The restoration of Elsie Evans is nearly complete, and soon she'll be back on the harbour. With the rising cost of fuel and concerns about greenhouse gas emissions, commuting by ferry might be an attractive option for many living around the harbour. Elsie's powered by a low-emission diesel engine, and eventually she may even run on biofuels.
One day we hope to run her on the oil of the fish and chip shops either side of the harbour for a bit of a novelty. Like most things, everything has a cycle, and it looks like we might be coming back into that cycle where the ferries might come back again. We think the harbour's underutilised. It's one of Dunedin's greatest assets, and we look forward for it to be used in the way it used to be, with people out there enjoying their natural environment, not having to travel hundreds of miles, but just out their back door and onto the harbour.
There's no doubt that Elsie will see a lot more change in her life. That's why it's important she's around, connecting us with the harbour and our history.